Have you checked your SNAP balance and noticed nothing new has been added yet? You're not alone. Millions of Americans across the country are waiting and worrying right now, asking the same question: is my state still paying SNAP this month? The government shutdown has thrown food assistance programs into chaos, and the truth is, some states are paying, some are delaying, and others have switched to food bank aid instead of direct benefits. In this video, we'll go state by state and show you exactly who's still funding SNAP, who's offering temporary help, and why a federal law called the Anti-Deficiency Act is stopping others from simply loading money onto EBT cards. So before you click away, make sure to hit like and subscribe to Social Security Post, because what you'll learn today could affect how you feed your family next week. Let's break down the facts. Right now, millions of families are staring at empty EBT balances, wondering what happened to their food assistance. The shutdown in Washington has frozen normal funding channels, forcing states to decide whether to pay out of their own budgets or rely on charities and food banks. That decision isn't easy. Each state faces legal and financial limits, and not all have emergency reserves to draw from. The situation has created a patchwork of outcomes across America. In some states, residents will get partial SNAP deposits, while others will receive no direct payment but can still pick up groceries at community centers and food pantries. The chaos highlights how fragile food security becomes when federal programs stall. Behind it all sits one key rule: the Anti-Deficiency Act, which prevents states from using federal money without congressional approval. States are now split into two very different approaches. Some are attempting to keep SNAP cards active with partial payments, using state emergency funds to fill gaps. Others have given up on card deposits entirely, focusing instead on food bank expansions and meal distributions. Both strategies aim to keep people fed, but they function very differently in practice. For the average household, a delayed or reduced SNAP deposit is tough, but at least it allows people to buy their own groceries. In contrast, families in states offering only food bank aid must rely on limited local supplies, sometimes waiting in line for hours. For unhoused, rural, or disabled residents, those programs are often hard to reach. This divide shows how deeply uneven the safety net has become in just a few weeks of funding disruption. California has moved fast, setting aside $80 million to strengthen food banks and deploying the National Guard to distribute food statewide. Its SNAP program, known as CalFresh, will continue, but recipients should expect delays and possible reductions in their normal benefits. The state is promising limited assistance until Washington resumes funding. However, the program faces one major gap: homeless and transient residents. People living without stable housing may not be able to reach distribution sites or receive physical deliveries. Local officials are scrambling to coordinate outreach, but this approach can't fully replace automatic EBT deposits. In short, California's plan will keep food flowing, but not at the same consistency families are used to. Colorado is spending up to $10 million from its general fund to help families affected by the SNAP freeze. The money will boost food bank inventories and expand meal services across the state. Nonprofits like the Food Bank of the Rockies are stepping up distribution, ensuring that low-income households still have access to groceries. But the state has confirmed that these funds will not cover EBT reloads. Recipients won't see new money on their cards until the federal government reopens. Instead, they'll need to rely temporarily on emergency feeding programs. It's a stopgap, not a full solution, one that keeps people fed, but also underscores how limited state budgets are in a national emergency. Hawaii is another state taking action, but its situation is uniquely complicated. The islands are using emergency contingency funds to provide temporary food aid for households waiting on SNAP. The state is working with county agencies and nonprofits to distribute food, but because of shipping delays and high import costs, getting supplies to every island on time is proving difficult. Hawaii also has one of the highest SNAP participation rates in the U.S., especially among seniors and families living near or below the poverty line. Officials are considering vouchers and local distribution hubs as alternatives. While this plan may prevent a total collapse of food access, the reality is that Hawaii's system depends heavily on federal aid, and without it, these temporary measures can only last for so long. Louisiana lawmakers are debating a $150 million emergency bill to keep SNAP benefits fully funded through November. If approved, the measure will ensure uninterrupted EBT deposits, with priority given to seniors, people with disabilities, and families with young children. The state's Department of Children and Family Services says this plan would maintain regular benefits even during the shutdown. This move could make Louisiana one of the only states offering full continuity of SNAP. However, it comes with serious financial risk. If the federal government doesn't reimburse states later, Louisiana could face a large budget shortfall early next year. Even so, leaders argue that feeding residents now outweighs the risk of waiting on Washington. New Mexico has taken a mixed approach. About 460,000 residents, roughly 21% of the population, depend on SNAP. The state is pulling together emergency reserves to provide partial payments while expanding food banks and mobile meal programs. Officials are working closely with nonprofit partners to reach isolated rural communities where grocery access is already limited. These partial benefits won't cover full monthly needs, but they will help families avoid total loss of food support. New Mexico's strategy reflects both compassion and realism, helping as much as it can without violating federal spending rules. It's a temporary safety net for households living on the edge, while federal lawmakers remain deadlocked. New York has rolled out over $40 million in emergency food funding to supply 16 million meals for the state's 3 million SNAP recipients. The plan includes partnerships with schools, city agencies, and food banks to distribute groceries and hot meals. New York City alone expects to see tens of thousands of families turn to emergency meal centers in the coming weeks. Still, federal law prevents the state from reloading EBT cards directly. The Anti-Deficiency Act forbids mixing state dollars with federally appropriated programs during a shutdown. As a result, New York is distributing food through vouchers and direct meal delivery programs instead. It's a fast, compassionate response, but it limits how much independence recipients have in choosing what they can eat. Virginia has declared a state of emergency to ensure that roughly 850,000 residents receiving SNAP benefits won't go hungry. The declaration unlocks state disaster funds and gives officials more flexibility to redirect resources. The state's Department of Social Services and the Virginia National Guard are already preparing to distribute food in vulnerable regions, ensuring that benefits are provided starting November 1st. By acting early, Virginia hopes to avoid the confusion other states are experiencing. Officials say the goal is to maintain continuity of benefits and stability in food supply chains statewide. This emergency order could serve as a national example for balancing compassion with compliance, protecting families while staying within the bounds of federal law. Vermont, however, has taken a different path. Rather than funding SNAP directly, the state is exploring legal action against the federal government, joining other northeastern states considering a lawsuit for withheld food aid. Leaders argue that it's unfair to expect small states with limited budgets to fund what is normally a federal obligation. Currently, Vermont is not issuing state-level SNAP payments or partial replacements. Food pantries have extended hours, and community groups are stepping in, but no direct EBT support is planned. For now, residents are advised to monitor the Vermont Department for Children and Families website for updates on food distributions while the legal battle develops. The Anti-Deficiency Act is the hidden reason behind this entire crisis. This federal law forbids government officials from spending more than Congress authorizes, committing funds before approval, or accepting unpaid work except during life-threatening emergencies. In plain language, it means no one in Washington, not even state governors, can legally spend federal money unless Congress gives permission. Violating this law can result in fines up to $5,000, suspension, or even prison time. Because SNAP is federally funded, states can't simply add money to EBT cards without risking penalties. Even if states spend their own money, the federal government doesn't have to pay them back later. That's why so many states are relying on food banks and vouchers instead of card deposits. It's not unwillingness, it's the law. To keep SNAP running nationwide for November, the federal government needs about $8 billion, but only $6 billion has been approved. That $2 billion shortfall means that even the best prepared states can't fully protect everyone. Families could see smaller deposits, delays, or total pauses depending on where they live. Experts predict that between 10 and 15 states will adopt emergency funding plans by the end of the month. If the shutdown continues, executive action could come between November 5th and November 10th to release temporary EBT payments. Until then, residents should check their state human services websites daily for updates and look into food distribution programs nearby. The situation is changing fast, and awareness will be key to getting through this difficult period. Friends, this is more than a funding debate. It's about families who don't know where their next meal is coming from. Some states are stepping up, others are holding back, and millions are caught in the middle. If you found this video helpful, please like and subscribe to Social Security Post so you never miss critical updates about SNAP, Social Security, SSI, SSDI, or other benefit programs that affect your household. And I want to hear from you. What's happening in your state? Did your SNAP benefits arrive, or are you still waiting? Leave a comment below with your state name and experience. Together, we'll keep shining light on the truth and helping each other stay informed. Thank you for watching, and take care until next time.